What's up, chans and fans, weeaboos and bakas? So today we're going to be reacting to Something Scary Volume 8, Part 2, because we never finished the whole video, yeah. So we're going to be reacting to the second story. So let's get right into the video.
It was 2010, and Anastasia was 7 years old. One day, her father told the family about a lovely cabin in the mountains of Colorado, which his friend rented out year-round. It was pretty far from any major roads and tucked away in a grove. There was a rushing river and a waterfall. He wanted to visit in the wintertime, and her mother thought it was a great idea too, and so they planned a short vacation at the cabin. When they first arrived, Anastasia had a strange feeling about the house. Something just felt wrong. Like the feeling you have when you walk into the wrong room and then you realize you walked in on something you didn't want to see. Anastasia first noticed the fireplace in the lounge. Above it was a creepy portrait of someone with piercing blue eyes who looked very important. She shook the feeling off, telling herself that the whole haunted cabin story was just a cliche and nothing more. Up the stairs was the bedroom she and her sister would share. It had two bunk beds right next to one another, the ladders across from each other. The ladders were extremely heavy, so their mom tightly secured them so they wouldn't wobble. The only other rooms upstairs were the bathroom and the balcony. The bathroom also had a strange vibe to it, so Anastasia used the downstairs bathroom. And the balcony was completely blocked off, which made her a little curious. Nighttime came, and as she and her sister got ready for bed, Anastasia's bad feeling about the cabin got much worse. She went downstairs to find a different room to sleep in, leaving her sister alone. Anastasia decided to sleep with her mother in one of the extra bedrooms. It was the only bedroom that felt different from the rest of the house. No weird vibes or energy. She felt like she could fall asleep there. There was a scrapbook on the bedside table, and her mom picked it up and flipped through it. There were photos of the property before the cabin was built, along with progress photos of the construction. They made this entire place by hand, she mentioned, in awe, although Anastasia wondered why she had a worried look on her face. Anastasia was able to sleep comfortably through the night with no strange occurrences. And then the morning came. She and her mom walked into the kitchen to make breakfast and paused. Every single cabinet in the kitchen was open about 45 degrees. There was shattered glass all over the floor, and yet none of the windows or doors were broken. The glass had seemingly come from nowhere. The snow flurried outside. Her sister was still asleep. What happened last night? They decided to sweep up the glass and close all the cabinets and forget about it. Although Anastasia noticed her mom had that same worried look as the night before. Later that night, Anastasia and her mom were getting ready for bed when her mom told her about what happened earlier that day. Her dad was telling her mom and sister to go check out the river because it was beautiful. They walked outside, and her mom was about 2 feet from the edge of the river. It was roaring violently. Suddenly, she felt a push on her back and stumbled forward. She fell onto the ground and clung onto the grass so she wouldn't be swept away in the current. She stood up, brushed the frost off, and yelled, "Why did you do that?" But when she turned around, no one was behind her. Anastasia's father and sister were already back in the cabin. Anastasia could see the same worry in her mother's eyes as she told her this story. They woke up the next morning to another strange discovery. There were peculiar white marks all along the floor. It looked as if someone had tracked in white paint. They began in the middle of the kitchen and ended at the fireplace. How the hell did that get in here? Later that day, Anastasia's sister tried to convince her to sleep in the bunk bed room with her. Anastasia continued to refuse, but to make her sister feel better, she told her that she'd come play with her before bedtime. Her sister was standing at the foot of the bunk bed ladder, and Anastasia was telling her something while climbing it. That's when the ladder began to move. Her sister wasn't touching it. She was halfway up when the ladder had straightened all on its own before falling backwards. Anastasia was thrust into the other ladder, and her arm was crushed under the weight. They drove to the nearest doctor, which it wasn't for a few miles. As it turned out, the ladder had chipped away a part of Anastasia's arm bone, and it was now broken. They all returned to the cabin and decided to cut the vacation short and leave first thing in the morning. Her mom went into the hot tub outside to de-stress, and Anastasia sat on the edge to dip her feet while they talked.
I love
A
hot
long
tubs.
silence passed, and Anastasia noticed her mom staring out at the edge of the river. There, she saw a young lady with long brown hair wearing a green striped shirt. She'd never seen her before. She walked around the side of the house, and Anastasia got up and followed her. But when she reached the corner, no one was there. They left the next morning and never returned. It wasn't until 6 years later that she was told the full story by her dad's friend, the owner of the cabin. There was a mother who lived in that house with her husband. She suffered from depression her entire life and attempted suicide many times. Once, by drowning herself in the upstairs bathtub. Another time, by burning in the fireplace. And every time, her husband was able to stop her. Eventually, she became fed up with him and killed him and threw his body into the river. Racked with grief and self-hatred, she hung herself from the balcony. How do you know all this? Anastasia asked her dad's friend. I saw it. She was my mother.
Okay, so that's it. Subscribe, like, leave a comment, and what should we react to next? And don't forget to subscribe and go to my friend's YouTube channel, Galactic Girl, and subscribe to her. So yeah, bye.